Hello and welcome to God I Hear You. I'm your host, Renee, and I'm not going to lie, I am loving this no lash look. I feel like it makes me look a little bit younger. As I embrace being in the 30s, I just love to look young and youthful. But today's message is a message of importance. I really want you all to lock into this word because it is really detriment to your future, and it's detriment to how you engage in your everyday life. So today's title is Time is Running Out. I'm going to repeat that again. Time is running out. We're going to open up by reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 13, and it reads, "Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming." When you look at the world and you look at the current events, these are signs that the end is near. We have corrupt politicians on both sides. They are not for the people, but they are for an agenda. And that agenda that I'm talking about is a satanic agenda. We have to open up our eyes to see what is really going on. When we look at the policies, when we look at the initiatives and the message that they're sharing with today's society, and we see the direction it's going in, we have to say to ourselves, something is not right. We're becoming more open to anything. We're becoming more far from God and more accepting of the world and what the world is pushing onto us. And not only do we have the politicians on a rise of pushing an agenda, when we look at even the church, we have false prophets. We have people saying outlandish things. There's a complete lack of respect for God. We have celebrities, the entertainment industry, they're coming up on these platforms and they're literally doing things that go against what we believe. They are promoting new movies, new music that completely blaspheme God and Christianity. These are signs that the end is near. When people become blatant and just do blatant disrespect to religious beliefs, to God, that is showing you that we are living in a careless world. The end is near. Time is running out. And even though we have this chaos going on, I do see that there is an influx of individuals that are preaching the word, are speaking to the word, and we even have children that are coming forward and saying that they have had dreams and experiences and encounters with Jesus. You need to go check out YouTube, check out TikTok. These kids are coming forward. And when you look at all those things, you look at what's going on in society, you have to refer back to scripture. In the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 17, this is what it says. It says, "In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit upon all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams." This is happening right now. I know some of y'all algorithms is probably a little bit off, and it's okay. Sometimes it be like that. But look into what I'm telling you. Go on YouTube, go on TikTok, and you will see that there are children, there are individuals that are having these encounters that are talking about the last days. These are signs that the end is near. And a lot of us get caught up into our surroundings that we forget what's going on overseas. We forget what's happening across the waters. We don't realize there is war right now. The Bible talks about there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. We are here now. We have to stop thinking that we have time. Time is of the essence. And what's interesting is when I think of how we live our lives, I remember us writing out these little bucket lists. And I know that everyone probably did that when they were younger. And some of us still kind of have bucket lists now. It's just kind of like not maybe called bucket lists, but we call it our goals that we want to attribute to. And when we look at our bucket list, some of us have these really worldly things on the list to check off. We want to do silly things like dine and dash, get a section, fly first class, buy a foreign car, make $1 million. The stuff that is on that list is so of not important at all if we really think about it, but we have prioritized these items as items that we want to make sure that we check off within our lifetime. And when we look at the list, none of it has anything to do with God. None of it has anything to do with God. We need to prioritize what's important. We need to have on our list, make it to the kingdom, serve on earth, live a godly life, walk in God's will. All those other things that we have on our list are just fleshly desires that is only going to give us temporary satisfaction. And so when I look at where we're at, I see that we have convinced ourselves that the vanities of life are important. We have considered and convinced ourselves that, we have more time on earth to live our best lives. And when in truth, what this best life that we're talking about is actually a life that's going to lead to our destruction. We are truly out of touch with what is important because we are so focused on the little things in life, like, getting a Birkin, getting this, getting that we're not attributing to, we really don't have that much time. So we need to live our lives for God each and every single day. We have to stop thinking we have more time to be in these, unfulfilling relationships, dealing with these toxic people, holding on to grudges, carrying unforgiveness, gossiping about people. Some of us really think that we have time to scam and sell drugs and then magically go legit. We don't have time for that. You don't have time to be sleeping around. You don't have time to be living for your flesh and entertaining things that you know are not right. But we have convinced ourselves that we're young, we could live, we could mingle, we could do X, Y, and Z. There are young people that are dying. There are young people that they make it out their house and that was their last day. And I hate to say this, but what was on their bucket list? What was on their bucket list? When they left this world, did they fulfill their flesh or did they fulfill God's will? We have to stop thinking that we have more time. And I know people are going to look at this message like, oh, you trying to scare us. No. This message, if it scares you, good. I actually pray that it gives you the fear of God, because I am speaking with love, but I'm also speaking with conviction. And I'm not going to soften this message and lead you to believing that you still have time to fool around. We don't have the time. And I'm thankful that where I'm now, and I am not perfect, but I'm so thankful that God covered me and gave me grace, because if I would have walked out my house, something happened, and that was it, Judgment Day would have came and I would have not been ready. So this message is to equip you, to shake you up so that you become ready, because time is running out. And when we think of this, I think it's really something, especially with young individuals. We have this backwards way of thinking like, oh, when I'm at this age, I'm going to stop running the streets. I'm going to find a nice lady. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to settle down. And you have to know that God sees you now. You don't have the time to waste. And a big thing is, why premeditate how you want to live a divine future when you could live divine now? Let's really ponder on that. Why do we do that? We say, at this age, I'm going to settle down, I'm going to do this. We are premeditating living divine when we could say to ourselves today, you know what, God, I am choosing to live for you. I am choosing to live a divine life. God sees us. He sees us, and he wants us to really prepare ourselves, because it is so true. We do not know the time. We do not know the day that he is coming. So that means we need to get ready. And what's that saying? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We really need to have that mindset with Christ. And a question that I want us to really reflect on is, where would you be going if today was your last day? Where would you be going if today was your last day? In 2017, I had a really rough year. I experienced a mental breakdown where I even contemplated, do I quit my job? Do I just check myself into a facility? I was really at a point where I did not think that I was capable of doing the day-to-day functions. I just it was becoming way too much for me. And the interesting thing about 2017, the year before 2016, and I don't know if you guys remember, but everyone used to talk about, well, let me not say everyone. Everyone within my age group used to talk about, oh, summer 16. Summer 16 was a vibe. Summer 16 for me, I was out at every cookout. I didn't miss a party. I was living what I considered my best life. Always had a drink in my hand, was, living that. I'm not really thinking about what church, God. I'm thinking about, dating. I'm thinking about this, that, and the third. Everything that I was thinking about, all my bucket list items, go to Dubai, go here, go there. Those things was really not even important. So here I am in 2017, barely able to go to work. It took energy to the point that I said, you know what? I don't know. I was even having conversations with my boss, like, I'm really struggling here mentally. I really am. I'm at that point. I'm telling my family, like, I don't know. I don't know if I could continue this way. And I am just so thankful for the prayers, thankful for my mother. Oh my goodness. There were times where she would just stay in bed with me just to make sure that I was okay. My brother praying for me, my friends praying for me. And it came to a point where one of my friends, and I'm gonna just say her name because I know she watches my podcast, Lizzie. I was talking to Lizzie and I said, Lizzie, I think I'm gonna come out to California. I'm gonna come out there, visit you, because I wanted to see her anyway. And I felt like, it was a perfect time for me to maybe take some time off of work, regroup myself, and kind of be in a space with someone that I knew was on a positive journey. Because at this time, Lizzie was actually in California and she was going to this church named Bethel. And some of you might be familiar with their music, Bethel music. So I ended up flying out there to see her. And the experience was definitely something I needed, because I felt like when I was on my way there, I was in a dark place. But when I left, I felt that I was crawling out. Like God really shifted some things and gave me the energy and the encouragement that I needed to be spiritually equipped to get out of this rut. But something interesting actually happened when I was there. So I remember I was sitting in Lizzie's room and the conversation just came out of nowhere. And it was just about, where do you think you're going when you die? And when I tell you, Lizzie is a radical person, but you gotta love it, because she's radical, but she loves very hard and she cares. And she's asking these questions and having this conversation because she wants the best for you. But in the moment, I was offended. I remember I'm like, because it was like when we talking, it was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Because I'm telling her like, well, if I was to go, like, I feel like I'll go to heaven because I'm a good person. God knows my heart. And she's like, God knows your heart, but that ain't good enough. Like, how did you live? Did you live for God? And she's asking these questions. I'm getting more and more offended, but I'm offended because what she's saying is right. Because the answer is, if I were to have gone at that moment, looking at my life, not missing a party, drink in hand, gossiping, doing all these things, I would have been first class ticket to HE double hockey stick. So all of that goes to show that I had not prioritized the important things in life. I was prioritizing my flesh. There was not I always on vacation, always doing this, always. And those things, looking back, what is a vacation if I can't go to heaven and live the ultimate life of vacation? It's meaningless. So we really need to think about that. And I am so grateful to have someone so radical for God, so radical for friendships, that could really ask me those questions. But when I think of that question, I really now ask myself that every single day. Like, okay, when I wake up in the morning and I think about, okay, this is how I want my day to go. I'm praying, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, but there's things that happen during the day. Sometimes you have a little attitude. Sometimes you pop off with someone. But it all goes back to, you know what, God, I'm repenting. I'm praying. I'm asking God for forgiveness because I don't want to be out of his grace. I want to be ready if today was my last day, tomorrow was my last day. I want to live my life each and every day dying to my flesh. And what's interesting is, you know, when I think about dying to my flesh, I think about, you know, all the things that don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? All the conversations that you have on the phone and you're doing this and this and that. And you're like, you know, this is silly. What are we really doing? We need to really shift our minds to be focused on Christ. We don't have time to waste. We do not have time to waste. And I came across this book, Matthew chapter 5, and I, you know, for the opening verse, but God actually placed it on my heart to read the full chapter. And I read the full chapter and I was like, wow, this was perfect for this, the perfect edition. So I'm going to read it to you. And so just to give you some insight into this, Matthew 25 is a parable that was spoken by Jesus. So let me read to you. It's 13 verses and it reads, "At the time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, 5 of them were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps, but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, 'Here, the bridegroom, come out to meet him.' Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out.' They responded, 'No, they may not have enough for both of us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourself.' But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom came. The bridegroom arrived. The virgins who already went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others also came. 'Lord, Lord,' they said, 'open the door for us.' But he replied, 'Truly, I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour.'" This is Matthew chapter 25. Now, what does this mean? So to just give you a summary, we have the bridegroom, which actually represents Jesus. The bridegroom in this represents Jesus. We have 10 virgins, right? 10 were wise. No, 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. These represent us humans. And in this story, we see that there's 5 individuals that they were prepared. They had their oil. They had extra stuff with their lamp. They were prepared to meet the bridegroom, which was Jesus. While the others, they did not come prepared. They did not have their oil. And so when the time came for them, for the bridegroom to come, they were asking to borrow from other people. And they said, no. We can't give you what we got. You got to go buy it. So the moral of this parable was, you don't know the exact time that Jesus is coming. So that means that you need to be prepared. You need to have your oil. You need to be ready now at all times, because you can't think that you have more time. You can't operate like the foolish ones, where when it's just now in your face, that's when you want to get ready. Don't live a life like that. Don't think you have more time to prepare. The time is running out. Time is running out. And what's so interesting to me is at the end, right? Where it says, later the others also came, said, "Lord, Lord," they said, "open the door for us." You see that? And he replied, "Truly, I tell you, I don't know you." That's where it comes in. that false belief of, oh, God knows my heart. He knows that, I'm just doing this, but I'm a be brown. Like when I hit like 35, I'm gonna settle down. I'm gonna buckle down. No, 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 no. You have to seek an active relationship with God. You have to die to your flesh. You have to say no to your fleshly desires and live for God now. Time is ticking. You don't have time to keep playing around and thinking like, oh yeah, God knows my heart. No, no, no. God wants to have a relationship with you. He wants you to be in communion with him and talk with him. Being a good person is not going to make you have a one-way ticket to heaven. Stop having that false illusion. You have to seek God, get in your word, live for him, connect with him, pray to him, speak to him, because those are the things that's going to prepare you so that when he comes, you don't have to run out and have to go to the store and buy oil. You're going to be prepared. You're going to be prepared. And the message in this as well is when he comes to collect, you have to be ready. There's not going to be a bargaining period of saying, oh, I'm ready now. Lord, Lord, open the door for me. No, 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 no. You have to be ready. So this message is to shake you up. Stop thinking you have time. You don't have no more time. Change your ways today. Live for God today. Serve God today, because tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Stop thinking you have more time. And what I experience on my journey is the closer I get to God, the more and more I want to make it, the more and more I want to do right. So even right now, you may be on this journey of like, I'm new to this, right? That's okay. We're not perfect. In time, you will get there, but start now. Stop thinking, I'm a wait. Don't. Time is running out. Your soul needs salvation. And I want us to walk away from this message today asking ourselves, if we were to go today, where would we go? That is a serious question. Where would you go? Do you have a relationship with God? Did you live a life that is pleasing to him? Are you living for your flesh or living for him? Is it worth it? You have to know that time is running out. Recently, I went back home, and every time I go home, I literally do the same things, visit the same people, try to visit everybody. And I make it a point to go to my friend's restaurant, Soulfully Vegan, each time I come home. So I was in the car with my brother, and we were in a deep conversation. And I said to my brother, I said, Kyle, I think that Jesus is coming soon. I think he's coming. And I'm honestly convinced he may even be coming in my lifetime, or if I have, hopefully I have kids in their lifetime. I don't know, because again, we don't know the day nor the time, right? But we were in this conversation. He was like, yeah, Renee, I feel it. Like, I feel like Jesus is coming, like Jesus is coming soon. As we were driving and having this conversation about just like, the times are showing that Jesus is coming, I looked up, and we're on the highway on the way, like we're leaving from like the Hartford side going into where Soulfully Vegan is. I feel like that's Berlin area. And as I look up, I see a sign on the highway. So all my people that live in Connecticut probably have seen this sign in passing, but it literally, and I didn't expect to see it, but I looked up and it said, Jesus is coming. That was confirmation. And I looked to my brother, I said, did you just see that? And he was like, yeah, that's crazy. The fact that we were in the car talking about Jesus is coming. I had no awareness, because I live in Chicago now, so I'm just visiting. I look up in mid-conversation and see that as confirmation. So my message to you all is, this is not a joke. This is the time to really buckle down, lock in, and get serious with living a godly life. You don't have time to continue this foolishness and running around and living for you. Live for God. And don't think that when you live for God, you're going to live this boring life. The best life you can live is a divine life. God, being in God's presence, feeling God just around you gives you a happiness and a peace that just surpasses all understanding. So don't think you're missing out on anything. You're not missing out on anything being in the world, okay? Live for God. Wake up, shift your list, shift your priorities. The time is now. Live for God today because time is running out and God is calling you closer to Him. And no matter how far you think you've gone, it does not matter. You can turn it around today. So, my message to you all, time is running out. Time is running out. And I want you all to really seek God in this season and let Him confirm things for you. Ask Him, God, what do I need to change? What do I need to shift? What do I need to prioritize in my life? Because you can hear it from me, but the message I know only is going to hit harder when it comes from God. So live for God, seek God, but remember, you don't have any more time to keep playing around. That's my message for you all today. Time is running out.